It's Ash from Super Videos back for another live Q&A video. This is Q&A number 185. First things before we get started, let me know if the audio is good because there's a few issues with the audio I just noticed. Let me know if the audio is good, but I'll do my intro and then you can also let me know if the audio is good. So we're going to be talking about Season 10, Episode 7, called Open Your Eyes, which aired last week. We're also going to talk about Season 10, Episode 8, the mid-season finale, which is airing Sunday night, which is called The World Before. Also, this is a spoiler-free chat, or it's a spoiler-free community in general, but specifically this chat, no spoilers on the upcoming episode. I know some people watch it early, but please don't spoil it for people who are not able to watch until Sunday night, so that way, we won't spoil it for them. With that said, let's jump right into the questions. Giuseppe Rosa, yo Ash, how are you? Glad you could join, Giuseppe. Giuseppe Rosa, I heard we got a new moderator. That's awesome. Yes, we did last week. And it's good that we have a few more moderators. I don't want to go crazy with it, but I think it's good to have a good amount of moderators so that on both live chats we could have someone. But yeah, it's awesome. King Kensu 14, have you seen episode 8? I have not seen it yet. I do usually watch it a little bit earlier in time because I want to give myself some time to edit and all of that. I don't have AMC Premiere, so I can't watch it Friday, but I do tend to watch like an hour earlier, but I have not so I haven't watched it yet, basically. That's the short answer. King Kansu 14, I have, just a quick note, don't spoil it for people who haven't watched. If you have questions about it, you might want to wait until I watch it, and then next week, next Friday, we'll talk about it. But if it's just a general question, if it doesn't spoil anything, you can ask if you want, or if it's anything related to previous episodes, you can ask those. Giuseppe Rosa, wait, how it comes out at 9 on Fridays. I do know it comes pretty late on Fridays, so yeah, I'm surprised that King Ken's seen it already. I'm not sure how, but what matters is that don't spoil it for us, and you said not spoiling, and I appreciate that. I think everyone who hasn't seen it appreciates that. I'm gonna check something here real quick while we're waiting. King Kensu 14, I haven't watched it. Giuseppe Rosa, you wrote I have. King Kensu 14, I mean haven't, sorry. Giuseppe Rosa, you're good. Okay, so no one's really watched it, which makes sense. It hasn't come out yet. But yeah, very excited though. I don't know what we're gonna get. I hope we're not underwhelmed with the episode, or it's not underwhelming, because it seems like we're not gonna end where we thought we're gonna end, or we're not gonna end where I thought we're gonna end with the half season. So I hope we get at least some very interesting stuff, but there's still a chance that they might go slowly or have a slow end. I know it's the mid-season, but still, Because Angela Kang did the same thing in season 9. Episode 15 was, a big episode, and then episode 16 didn't deliver quite as much in a way. So, she pretty much did the same thing this season for the half season. She gave us a big episode for episode 7, and then episode 8 might not necessarily live up to expectations, bouncing off of episode 7, but we'll have to wait and see. Giuseppe Rosa, hey Ash, have you checked out the Mandalorian? Really good show. I have not watched it, no. Mandalorian. Let me see what that's all about, to see if it's even my type of show. The Mandalorian. Okay, let me see this. Oh, it's a Star Wars show? I think it is. Yeah, I'm not a Star Wars fan. I haven't seen any Star Wars anything. So, yeah, I haven't, and I probably won't. King Ken 214, I'm so ready for The Walking Dead B. Yeah, we're not even done first half, and I'm already ready for the second. King Ken 214, the Horde is coming. That's going to be interesting. Yeah, I mean, it's got to come at some point. So, whether it's this episode or next half, that remains to be seen. Giuseppe Rosa, what season do you want The Walking Dead to end on? For me personally, I want it to end on season 15, and I'll be satisfied. I think they've said that it's confirmed, but it hasn't really been confirmed. But they are saying, or reports are saying, 12 seasons. I did a video on that like an hour ago. So that's what's coming out right now. I don't know if it's true or how accurate that is, but I think 12, 13 seasons is reasonable. I wouldn't go to 15 seasons, because if they're really going to end it with like 12, 13, I don't want them to just drag it to like more just for the heck of dragging it. So I hope they don't drag the story. I hope they give it a proper ending. I hope they end it when it's time. I'm not big on numbers. Whenever it feels right, whenever it's right, that'll be great. As long as it's the right time and it's the right story. King Ken 214, do you think Alpha will die? I don't think she'll die at the end of this episode. I thought for a long time that she probably will, but at this point I don't think so. I think it's probably going to be either episode 9 coming up next half, or like the episodes after that. They might give us like a big kind of cliffhanger where at the end she might die, and then they'll show us next season or something like that. King Kensu 14. I just read that one. Giuseppe Rosa, it's a Star Wars show. Yeah, I just noticed that. I'm not that into Star Wars or fantasy type of shows or movies. Giuseppe Rosa, Ash, you should watch Star Wars. It's really good. At this point, I think it's a little too late because there's so many of them. But yeah, and it's not really my type of movie or show or story, even. King Ken 214, I think it'll end 12. Yeah, 12 seasons. What the reports are saying. Giuseppe Rosa, I love going back to season 4 and 5. Amazing seasons. For me, that's the best of The Walking Dead. I mean, for me, season 5 and 6 were the prime of The Walking Dead. Season 9 is my favorite because there was so many great stuff in it. But I think that was the 4 and 5 were the peak of Walking Dead. It went down after that. Even though season 9 has, been great or was great, and season 10 is good. Even though season 9 is my favorite, in terms of fan feedback and fan ratings and all of that, and ratings in general, I think 4 and 5 were the peak. King Ken 214, Fear will end season 6, hopefully, and the third show will probably end season 4 or 5. So with the pacing you're going, you mean there's going to be like no Walking Dead material in 5 years' time? which I mean, actually not 5. It's more like, yeah, because you're saying the third show goes 4 to 5, so that's 5 seasons. Yeah, 5, 6 years, right? I mean, I think we can do a little bit more, or they can do a little bit more than that for all of them, for all of those things. Giuseppe, well, not Fear. I mean, you know where I stand with Fear, so I'm not even gonna get into that. Giuseppe Rosa, if Norman Reedus and Melissa McBride want to leave their contract or after their contract, they should just end the series there. I disagree with you on that. I talked about that on the video I did. I don't think it's necessarily, or the fact that they're, the fact that, or if they don't renew their contract at the end of their contract, I don't think it means The Walking Dead's gonna end. That's just me. The quality is different. Like, it might not be as good, or fans might not like it as much, but I think they'll probably keep, or they can continue after that if they really want to. Especially if they bring more characters in, build them up, and if we're less reliant on Carol and Daryl. Giuseppe Rosa, they should end the series and make a Judith spinoff. Now that's an interesting idea. I mean, what they could do is do another big time jump like they did with Judith after Rick died, or quote unquote died, so that they could do the same thing. But then this time they could go 10, 20 years in time. Ahead of time. And we could start the story in a way like we did with Rick, but this time it's Judith, but it's in a new world. That could be interesting if they really want to go that way. They kind of did that in the comics with Carl, right? But they could have a even more bigger time jump, and they could tie or close all of the stories before they do that, so that way when they come back, it's truly a brand new story. Giuseppe De Rosa, I think they want to end the Walking Dead series in the movies. Let me think. So if they're saying 12 seasons, 3 movies, maybe that's a possibility. The timeline may work, depending on how much gap there is between the movies. But that's a possibility. I don't know if that's the best way to do it, because that means that in the show they're not gonna really end it, so that'll be underwhelming because we want an end in the TV show as well. So it may work. It may or may not work. It just depends how, and how they bring everything together. So we have gone 24 minutes. We'll go for another maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll end it. There isn't that many people on right now anyway. And also, I think we're going to have a lot more to talk about after the mid-season. So we'll go for another maybe 10 to 15 minutes. Giuseppe De Rosa, if The Walking Dead was to go for 10 more seasons, you have to put Daryl above Rick then. At that point, yes. But right now, I don't think Daryl can be put on top. He's the face of the show, but character-wise, I don't think he's anywhere close as what they built with Rick or for Rick. King Kensu 14. So, who do you think will take Michonne's arc on finding her daughter? I thought it was going to be Morgan. It could still be Morgan. I've heard that rumor as well, where he shows up at wherever Rick is, or he shows up in Commonwealth. Sorry, I was mixing it up with the Rick movie, but he shows up in Commonwealth, and the characters meet up with them. That's possible. It could happen with Morgan. It could happen with Dwight, maybe. It could also happen with King Ezekiel. It could happen with Carol. I don't know who she will meet or find, but it could work there. It could work with some other character, but I think at this point, it's a little too early to predict that, because we haven't really gone into the Commonwealth story that much. So I think it's a little too early to speculate that. We need to wait until we get our first look, but first good look at where the story is going with the Commonwealth. I mean, the characters that are going to be involved. Giuseppe De Rosa, who's the most iconic Walking Dead character? That's gotta be most iconic Walking Dead character. Aside from Rick, obviously, I think you mean, because Rick is obviously the most iconic. After that, I would say Negan, probably Negan. Giuseppe De Rosa, perhaps Andrew Lincoln left because of the death of Carl. His character has no meaning no more. I mean, based on what we've heard, they knew they were going to do the movies for a long time. And they knew that Andrew Lincoln was going to leave for a long time, even before Carl died. So I think that could have had something to do with it. But the decision came before that, if you think about it, really. Giuseppe De Rosa, I really think they should put Morgan back in The Walking Dead and Dwight. I completely agree with you. Everyone knows where I stand on Fear right now, so I'm not even, like I said, I'm not even going to get into that. But I think it was a biggest mistake that they made, taking specifically Morgan out from Fear, or out from The Walking Dead, putting him in Fear. That was the worst decision that they made. With Dwight, same kind of thing, but it's not as severe as it was with Morgan. Giuseppe De Rosa, Carl's death was a bad idea. That's a great point. Another big mistake that they made in the last couple years. King Cancer 14, who do you think was the saddest death? For me, it's Glenn, Beth, and Lori. The saddest death for me would be the one that hit fans the most, or hit me the most, because that's different. The one that hit me the most and was the saddest in a way for me, I would say, let me think. Yeah, Glenn, then let me think. I don't agree with the Beth one, but I do agree with Lori. So Glenn, is Lori number 2? Let me think. I would say Glenn, most sad. Glenn, Lori, and Shane. That would be the ones for me. In a way where it was most impactful. But for fans, I don't know how the order is going to go, but I think you should put Henry's death in there. And Tyrese's death. Those were definitely, sad deaths. Maybe you can put Carl in there as well. I don't know how that fits, like which order, like I said, but they need to go on that list somewhere. Giuseppe De Rosa, top 3 biggest mistakes of in The Walking Dead. Carl's death, the crossover, Morgan crossover, and Dwight's I'll put both of those in one, and the double deaths, or the cliffhanger season 6 finale plus the double deaths in the in-lineup scene. Those are the three biggest mistakes. And I know I combined some, but they were related in a way. Giuseppe De Rosa, they could have used Morales for a spin. Oh, that's another one. That's the fourth one. Bringing Morales back. That's another one. But going to your question, they could have used Morales for a spin-off series. That would have been interesting. Yeah, they could have done tons of stuff with Morales if they truly wanted him back. But it was just fan service to bring him back. But they had nothing for him, to they just killed him off. Giuseppe De Rosa, Morales had the most potential in my opinion. I mean, I didn't really care. Morales wasn't a character I thought about, to be honest. So he had fans, I know, but he was a background character for me, to be honest with you. King Kensu 14, it made me cry when Maggie fell because behind died, but Beth was so dumb for what she did. Made me cry when Maggie fell because behind died, but Beth was so dumb for what she did. I think you're referring to the Beth death. Yeah, Beth. I mean, the Beth death could have been done a lot better. The impact to Beth's death was done a lot better than her actual death. The outcome of it was a lot more fleshed out and organic than her death itself. Giuseppe De Rosa, what if they killed Maggie instead of Glenn? I don't think that would have worked. That would have changed so many things in a way that it would have been like a chain reaction where that one change would have impacted it so much that they might have had to change the story in a way as far as Maggie's concerned. Because think about it. With Maggie, look how much that impacted Maggie's storyline. Where would we be if that was Glenn? I'm sure the Glenn story would have been completely different. Giuseppe De Rosa, you can only bring back 3 characters. Who you got? 3 characters. Okay. I would say Glenn, Shane, and in no particular order, but Glenn, Shane, and Glenn, Shane, and Rick. I don't know if you count Rick, and Rick. Glenn, Shane, and Rick. If you wouldn't count Rick in this because he's not really dead, then I would say Glenn, Shane, and it's a tough one. I can't really think of anyone. But Glenn and Shane for sure. And Rick, if you can include him. Giuseppe De Rosa, nobody has been asking this question, but when is Maggie coming back? Probably the second half. I'm leaning towards closer to the end of the second half of season 10. It hasn't, we don't know it. There hasn't been any information that has come out. Giuseppe De Rosa, could she possibly return in the mid-season finale? If she does, I'll be super shocked. I don't think she will, but if she does, wow. And also, I don't think they've actually filmed her. So if she does, it might be like a radio call or something like that. Giuseppe De Rosa, I wonder how the hell Michonne will leave. Same here. At this point, I'm leaning more towards her leaving because she got intel about Rick's whereabouts. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. The other possibility is she dies. I don't think they're going to kill her. So I think that's where the story is going. Where she'll learn that Rick is alive and go after him. Giuseppe De Rosa, I miss Maggie, honestly. Yeah, and I would put Maggie in the list as well, but I was assuming you meant characters that are both not dead and they're not coming back already. So for Rick, he's not dead. For Maggie, she's not dead. And for Maggie, she's coming back. That's why I didn't include them in the list. Giuseppe De Rosa, imagine having Maggie, Rick, and Morgan back. That'll be wonderful. If we can get that in season 11, that'll be great. Giuseppe De Rosa, I don't think we have ever seen Morgan and Maggie have a conversation. I don't think so. There hasn't really been a purpose for it anyway, so that's why we haven't seen it. But yeah, we may see it in the future if Morgan comes back, but he probably won't. Alright, so we've been going for 35 minutes. That'll be the end of the stream because I do want to do another video later tonight that I kind of talked about on Twitter. I posted about it, which is some big leak that have come out. It's not really a leak, it's a borderline spoiler. I'll talk about that in the video. I'll put a spoiler warning, obviously, just in case people don't want to watch. But stay tuned for that. Like I said, but also check out the other 2 videos I posted. One was about the possibility of us getting a second Whisper Spy, and the other thing is about the news that came out that Walking Dead's going to end after 12 seasons. So check out those 2 videos, and later tonight, maybe in a couple hours, stay tuned for my other video about the possible spoiler or leak for season 10. Again, I'll do a spoiler warning for that, just in case there are people who don't want to watch or know about it. But I'll read one more comment from Giuseppe, and then I'll end it. So, Giuseppe De Rosa, who are the 6 main characters of The Walking Dead? At this point, I would say Daryl, Carol, and in no order, but Daryl, Carol, Negan, Michonne, but obviously she's going to leave. But then after that, I would say... Let me think. Eugene. I would say Eugene. Eugene / Rosita. One or the 2. / Father Gabriel. Like from those 3, partially all of them. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I can get to because I do want to end it here. Thanks everyone for joining and supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Again, stay tuned for my video tonight and check out the other videos if you haven't already. Thanks everyone. I'll talk to you guys soon.